Hello and welcome. So, one thing we really enjoy doing every year, meaning my family, is sending and receiving, of course, Christmas cards. So, in my opinion, there are three main kinds of cards to send. The first kind is your traditional card. Some people still send these, but really the only people we receive them from are older relatives. You know the cards. They have some cute scene on the front and some cheesy saying inside. And I can say half the fun of sending these cards is going to the store and picking out the best ones you can find. Sometimes people write a personal note inside, and sometimes they just sign it. Either way, it's fun to see the different cards that you can get. The second kind of Christmas card is a picture card. Now, these are the ones that we usually send every year. You know the ones. I'm sure if you're like us, then you receive tons of them every single year. Honestly, these are my favorite. I absolutely love to see how people have changed and what their families look like nowadays, especially since I haven't seen most of these people for a while, especially this year. Sometimes we just do a picture on the front, sometimes we do pictures on the back, sometimes we will write a little note about our family and how we're doing. Here's how our card turned out this year. The third kind is homemade, which I think is the best kind for kids to make. Every year, my son makes homemade cards for his grandparents.
Dude.
So today we are going to learn how to make a pop-up card. So first we need to get our supplies. You will need cardstock in a variety of colors, scissors,
Scissors.
glue, what else? Glitter, stickers, tape, anything else that you can think of to enhance your card. No idea where he went.
This.
Markers, yes. Okay, so now we're going to work on the base of our card. So we are going to cut a piece of cardstock to be 4 inches by 6 inches. So I'm going to start over here. It is very specific, yes. And we are going to do, I'm going to make a line for,
Are you making a line for
4 inches. Yep. And then one over here for 8 inches because we're going to make 2 cards. So I want to measure again 4 inches and 8 inches. Okay. And then we're also going to make a line for 6 inches. So then after I'm done cutting this, we should have 2 pieces of 4 by 6 cardstock. So these don't have to be perfect because obviously if you put them next to each other, they're probably not the exact same. They're a little bit off. But anyway, so this is going to be the inside of our card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half. So it's going to be a small card. It's not going to be a big card. And then what I'm going to do is use a ruler to measure 1.5 inches in. From each side. So 1.5 and then 1.5. So then I should have these 2 little lines right here. So what I'm going to do is measure 1 inch up 1 inch up. Okay. So now it just looks like I have 4 little dots on my paper. Then we're going to take our scissors and we are going to cut a little up, just like that. So we cut from the bottom of the fold to right up here. And then we're going to do the same thing on this other side with our other 2 dots. But we are not going to cut across, okay? No, we're not. So then we're going to open this up and we're going to invert this. Right. And then you want to pull it and then crease it again. So then it looks like this.
It looks like you cut it out, but it's in there.
So then when we open it up, it's like this.
Well,
Kind of looks like a
square.
chair or, yeah, square. Something like that. So that is the inside. So then we want to do the same thing to the other one. We have 2 that are like this for our 2 cards. This is how we create the pop-up part of our card. So then whenever you open the card, that's where it'll pop up. We're going to work on making the outside of our card. So you are going to make 1 card and I'm going to make 1 card, okay? So which color would you like for the outside of your card? You want blue? I also want blue. So we're going to make 2. For the outside, I'm going to measure larger than I did for the inside. Makes sense?
Because obviously you have to cover it, and that's a second layer.
Right.
Which means that it'll have to be a little bit bigger.
Right. So I decided to cut just a 5 by 7, since I made these 4 by 6. That way it's just a 1/2 inch border around the outside.
I get it.
And then there's one. Okay. So these are not perfect. I did not do a good job of making them perfect.
Who cares?
But
Nothing's perfect.
right. Okay, so pick an outside. Any outside. Oh, and they're the same. Come on.
I know.
Okay.
What's
So now we want to glue. So here's our inside, here's our outside. We want to glue it to look like this, okay? Which means what? When we glue, we want to make sure to not glue on any of this. So we don't want to put glue on the outside. We actually want to put glue on the inside. And don't use a ton or else it's going to make your paper wavy, because when paper gets wet, it gets wavy. So we want to try and put a thin yet enough glue that it will stick. See, I'm not squeezing very hard because I don't want that much glue to come out. So I did one side, and then I'm going to stick it in there, approximately the middle, do my best, and I'm going to squeeze it shut. And I'm going to press all over to get the glue on there. So then when I open it up, with that side down, then this side will be not glued yet. So then I'm going to put a thin layer of glue. Just like that. And then I'm going to close my card again and press all around it. So then, really we want to let it sit there for a couple minutes, but when you open it up, these 2 sides will be glued down and it'll look just like that, okay? While we let these sit and dry for a couple minutes, we want to decide, what do you want to pop up from your inside of your card?
Well, if it's from my grandma and grandpa, me.
You want to pop up? Oh, that would be so cute. Okay, so what you could do is use one of these scrap pieces of white paper and then draw yourself. So you can use your markers, you could, yeah, you could use a pencil, whatever you want, you create, okay?
Okay, I'll be right back.
Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to put a Christmas tree as my pop-up. So, let's see, what did I write? We don't want it to be any more than 2 inches tall, or else whenever we close our card, it will stick out from the top, and that would be no good. So we want it to be less than 2 inches tall. Did you hear that part?
I did.
Okay, so I've got my green paper. It's just a piece of scrap paper. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark 2 inches so that I can go ahead and cut it out so that I know that I don't want it any taller than that. Yeah, so I just got a little piece of paper, just like this. And this is where I'm gonna make my Christmas tree. I'm gonna draw it. Some other ideas, if you don't wanna draw yourself or a Christmas tree, you could put a present as your pop-up. You could put some type of animal. You could do, since we're making Christmas cards, you could have put Santa.
Basically, whatever you think your grandparents would like.
Well, I mean, or whoever the card is for. It doesn't have to be for a grandparent. It could be for a friend. Maybe you're making a card for your parents.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this is my little area.
Before I glue that down, I want to create a background.
Ooh.
So I've decided that my tree is going to sit in the middle of a city. So,
the Rockefeller tree?
Just like the Rockefeller tree. So I am going to draw big buildings.
Nice.
Yes, Owen?
Because I'm writing myself, drawing myself. Can I do a little speech bubble that says Merry Christmas?
Absolutely. It's your card. You can do whatever you want. So, yep, gotta color that background.
Color that background.
Okay, so now that I have my cityscape done and added a couple little lights up at the top that says Merry Christmas, I am going to glue my tree on. Now, to make my tree a little more exciting, I think I'm going to add a couple ornaments or lights to it, and then I'm going to glue it on. See how it looks. Close it up and squeeze it shut. And then we're gonna let it dry, but this is how my tree looks inside of my cityscape.
I'm not done yet, but mine will be great.
But that can't be the end. We still need to decorate the front of our cards.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm gonna go pretty minimalistic with mine because I think the inside of mine is enough excitement. So, alright, I'm gonna start decorating mine. Alright, let's see the inside of yours. Ooh, very cool. We've got the floor and a fireplace and a Christmas tree. So now you just need to think about what message you want to write. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, something cheesy like, what could be from a song? Inside of mine it says, have yourself a merry little Christmas. So now we need to glue your little dude in there.
Yay, my little dude.
And your next thing is you need to decorate the outside.
What did you decorate this?
I put some lights. I cut out some little lights and just put a little string. That's it. So I have lights on the front, and then you open it up, and there is a tree in the city that says Merry Christmas. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Oh, here's yours. You've got a door on the front with a wreath, and then you open it up, and there's Owen, and he's saying Merry Christmas, and says, I love you so much. Happy holidays, love, Owen. That's adorable. I love it so much.
What?
Alright, so now that we're done, it's time to put our cards in envelopes and put a stamp on them and mail them out. I hope you liked our little activity, and no matter what kind of Christmas cards you send, no matter how many you send, I hope you will consider sending a couple to the people you love the most. I know I always feel really special when I get cards in the mail. And as always, from my family to yours, Merry Christmas.